I'm Duncan Good, I'm Dairy Crest's retained property advisor, and I've been involved in this project for the last two and a half years. Certainly looking around the demonstration or the display here, it's the amount of community involvement. As I say, I've been involved in the project for 2.5 years now, and initially there was clearly a hardcore of people who were very keen to get the site brought back into community use and to get involved in it. And there's always that concern at the back of your mind that you get an agreement in place and actually the community's not really that bothered. But having had a look around this building today, there clearly are an incredible number of people locally who are interested in what happens to it, who've got history, not just working at the site, but being around the site and in the town. And I'm staggered, I think, by the amount of response you've had since we signed the agreement. Our vision for the site and for Atmos is to leave a positive legacy for Totnes, so that when people talk about the site, it has a positive connotation both for Dairy Crest, for Atmos and for Totnes. We all know it's been vacant longer than any of us would have wanted, but there are reasons behind that. So actually now we've got a positive agreement between us, and we want to see something positive that benefits the local community. By doing so, benefits Dairy Crest and benefits Atmos and everyone else. Today's the first time I've been down to the hub since we signed the agreement several months ago, and I've clearly had updates from yourself and Dave in the meantime. I wasn't really prepared for the amount of feedback and involvement you've had from the community through the sort of the room that deals with the past, to the present, and to this sort of the ideas of the future. And it's very easy, when I get told you've had 500 or so people coming through to think, yeah, okay, that's fine, they've just had a wander through and had a look at the boards. Actually, looking around this room with all the sort of the notes people have left and the ideas, it is, as I said before, staggering that the amount of interest, and it all seems very positive, and hopefully through that we will come out with the right answer.
My name is Richard Smith. I'm the South West Regional Land Director for McCarthy and Stone, and my job is basically land acquisition for the company. I suppose from a developer's perspective, planning and our planning system can sometimes be quite divisive. i.e. we as a developer will come into a town, and McCarthy and Stone are very, very good at public involvement and public communication, but still that doesn't sit comfortably and well with some members of the public. So we submit our planning application, we'll get some supporters, we'll get some objectors, and the whole process can be quite divisive at times. And I suppose the advantage of this prospect is that we are actually working directly on a one-to-one basis with the local community. We're starting with a clean sheet of paper. We have some broad brush ideas as to what we both want to achieve from this, and we're working up a scheme that's going to evolve in conjunction with the people who are actually going to be voting for and making the decision. And we are now part of that process at this level. So we won't have an appeal, there's no need for any of that process, and it should be hopefully a straightforward, streamlined route through to getting planning permission, Atmos doing their work on phase 1 and us doing our work on phase 1 with our building.
So there are 3 things that we want to achieve the Totnes Community Development Society from Atmos Totnes. The first is obviously a fantastic development realised on that site. The second is Totnes enabled through that site to realise some assets and develop other community developments around the town. And the next reason that we're really interested in this is through the learning to enable other communities around the UK to develop sites. We have a real-time learning opportunity here.
A community right to build order, okay, it's a game changer because it allows communities to think about the development that they want, where they want it, built in the way that they want it, using the people they want to build it, with the materials that they want to build it from, basically. Huge opportunity in terms of relocalising the economy, inward investment in the right way, skills and training in the right way, but also asset development within communities that potentially is owned by that community for the long term, therefore has an opportunity to change context over the long term and to be used appropriately according to need as need presents itself to the community. So it's the route, one of the routes through to ensuring that land and development on land becomes truly sustainable and truly helps to build resilient communities.
Well, it's been an unusual ride for us as McCarthy and Stone. We are a big national house builder, and I first started this project off talking to Dairy Crest, Director Dairy Crest, And we went up to see Duncan Good, their agent in London, and I presented our proposals for the bit of the site that we're interested in, without knowing at that time that we were going to be talking to Atmos and very much involved with Atmos in the project. And Dairy Crest said to us, that's fine, we like your proposals, we're happy to work with you, but now you've got to go and work with Atmos because this isn't going to happen without them. I then took it back to McCarthy and Stone HQ, and I sat in front of my board and my colleagues and I explained, this is a site, we want to be in Totnes, we've wanted to be in Totnes for years, this is a site I think we should buy, but this is how we're going to have to do it, and it has to be the community right to build order or it ain't going to happen, full stop. And there was a long silence, and my MD said, you want to do what? And I said, well, let me bring don't take it from me, let me bring my development director and my planning director down to meet Dave, and Dave can explain how the community right to build order works, which we duly did. And then once they were sold on the whole idea of the community right to build order, the company, McCarthy and Stone, and it was a bit of a leap in the dark for them, and it is a leap in the dark for them as well, as it is for you guys. Once they'd bought into the idea and decided, yes, this is something we want to do, we've backed it wholeheartedly. Totally unique, totally unique. The site itself, if you just take the piece of land, McCarthy and Stone have various site requirements, so it has to tick the boxes because of our purchaser profiles, have to be within easy reach of the shopping facilities. Obviously we've got the railway here, so it ticks those community boxes that we need. But in terms of the actual process to get from site to getting it built via the community right to build order is totally unique. I think it's probably one of the country's first ones, as far as I'm aware. And it's something that we have not been involved in. We're not looking at any others as far as I'm aware across the UK. So it's a first, and we've got to make it work. The hub has been absolutely fabulous, and I think there's been over 1,200 people come through the doors since it's opened in the last 6 weeks, and it just demonstrates beyond any shadow of a doubt the enthusiasm that people in this town have got for this project, and that there's been support from McCarthy and Stone in the whole thing. You can see people's ideas and how the project, and phase one in particular, is going to evolve. We can see what the architecture is going to look like, or an idea of how it's going to look like, and we're really excited about moving it on to the next stage.
What is central to the community right to build order is that the community determines what gets built and how it gets built. So their dreams, their hopes, their visions and ideas are reflected in this process and what gets put forward. And most consultations aren't like this. They don't allow people to choose in this very powerful way.
Our strong belief has always been that this site is central to unlocking this town's future and its regeneration. And what we've tried to do is, with the Atmos project, has been to harness the creativity, the passion that we see everywhere in this town and focus it on this site and its potential.
I came to the events and I sat in front of the station at about 12:30 waiting for everybody to turn up, not knowing, is anyone going to turn up or are we going to be absolutely swamped? We'd backed the project, obviously we financially committed to it, so we'd bought into it. But that for me was the time when I saw probably about 200, 250 people, I think it was, turn up on a Thursday afternoon, I think it was. And just out of the blue, all of these people just obviously supporting it, obviously enthusiastic. I mean, I just loved the cakes and the way that whole thing was put together. That was the moment for me when I thought, actually, this is going to happen.